I spent many years only behind a camera, but in the more recent years, I've been sat in front of a camera talking to you like this more than I ever have before. And in this video, I just wanted to talk to you about how to actually get better at talking on camera. How do you improve your camera presence, your speaking style, your ability to feel comfortable talking into this very ominous little glass sphere and somehow still come across that you're talking to, the human at the other side of it. There is a lot of nuance behind the things that you actually need to do to get better at these skills, but I've identified 3 key points that will make you actually better at speaking in front of the camera. So I'm going to start with the first one, and that is get used to the sound of your own voice. Now, I remember when I was a teenager in secondary school, I did drama as one of my classes, and I had a day where we recorded ourselves doing some performance, and then we played it back in front of the class. And I vividly remember most of the class cringed whenever they saw themselves on camera, but it wasn't because they felt like, oh, they looked weird. It was because they felt that they sounded odd. They felt like their voice just sounded either more high-pitched, like the girls basically, than they thought it was, or the guys just being like, that doesn't sound anything like me. What the hell is like, it just sounds
nothing like me.
And I'm sure you guys have had this as well, where if you record yourself in any way, you're like, what? My voice sounds, I speak like that? What the hell? But it turns out you actually do speak like that. And a lot of the process of getting better talking in front of the camera is just being more comfortable with the sound of your own voice and also, how you look and present to camera. And a lot of that is just honest exposure therapy, just recording, playing yourself back. Maybe you say a word really weirdly like HDR that I got completely slated for because I didn't pronounce it correctly, or you're always using filler words such as like and a lot of YouTubers and podcasts especially, I've heard them say use filler words like this constantly, and after you hear it a while it starts to become quite annoying to listen back to. I'm not guilty of this. I think I say quite often in my videos. I leave them unscripted like this one, so it's probably you're going to get a lot of in this one. Maybe there's one thing that you could do to maybe get rid of this insecurity very quickly is to record a video of yourself just speaking in front of the camera, just private it. You don't need to put it on YouTube or anything, and then show it to one of your close friends and say, hey, does this look and sound like me? And they're all going to be like, yeah, that's you, Adam. Like, that's what you sound and look like. And then you're going to be like, oh no, my best friend also thinks that. Oh, and then at that point, it's probably time to reevaluate your opinion of yourself in terms of how the world perceives you, how they hear you, how they see you, how they observe any mannerisms you might have. And then that becomes the beginning point of you having acceptance that, okay, I do have these things. I don't like some of them, and now I actually notice what they are. I'm going to start to work on them, whether that be words, filler words. Maybe you like always scratch your nose in a weird way all the time, or like squinting, which I can do sometimes when I'm tired. And then you can just start to notice them a bit more clearly and put attention towards them to hopefully not do them as often as you were doing before. It's obviously easier said than done, because any sort of critique of us as people or mannerisms or ways of being that we've been doing for maybe years and years and years, and then somebody has to tell you, yeah, that's what you're like, and then you realize it was probably not a good idea to have that weird hairstyle because you thought it was cool, but actually if you ask someone honestly, most people think it looks weird, and you have to reevaluate a lot of your life and take steps to, humble yourself and like look at the ego that you might have had that thought it was a good idea to have that cool shirt that you wore all the time. Now it's time to get rid of it and really be honest with yourself and start making steps towards improving yourself. And yeah, like if you have a mannerism that maybe feels true to you, fashion is probably not a good example that I did, but like if you speak in a certain way or say these filler words, and yeah, I'm not saying like completely, change your whole persona for someone else. If you really like that horrible hairstyle and it feels true to you, then keep having it, but you have to be aware that other people in general might not like it. But conversationally, if you're constantly talking in a very downwards tonality at the end of your sentence, for instance, if you're saying, so thanks for watching my videos, and I really hope you like watching my YouTube channel and you'll come again soon. Like if you did that after every sentence, yeah, that might feel true to you, but it's going to be annoying and people are not going to want to watch you as much or listen to your videos because there's just something about the way that you speak that is annoying. So yeah, like it's time to be humble. It's time to take stock of who you are as a person, the mannerisms that you have, get honest feedback on what that might be in terms of, how you sound or what you want to potentially improve on, and take the opinions on board, and you will experience some really massive changes. I've been making YouTube videos for quite a while now, and I even have some videos on my channel that are completely private where I did unscripted talks in front of the camera like this. And when I look back at them, I cringe because I sound odd. I sound nothing like how I sound now. It feels fake or very unnatural to me.
We can learn a lot from the mentality that children have, which is very much present.
But when I shot those videos, I thought that was like how I am and that's how I sound. And I thought at the time, that's a really good presenting style, Adam. Keep doing that. But now when I look back at them, I'm like, oh my God, I've improved so much in front of the camera. So there's definitely a learning curve and a skill level with being able to communicate towards a lens. And it's not an easy journey. It can take a while, but honestly, the quicker you get started on this, the more investment and time and repetitions you put into sitting in front of a camera, as I'm doing now, it's really gonna help you out in the long run, because the skill of being able to talk in front of a camera like this, or just candidly and as close to the version of yourself that exists in real life, like the real version of you when you meet people in general, if you can make that gap as small as possible, it's a skill set that is only going to help you out, especially in these day and ages. Like, you're going to be able to get opportunities that you wouldn't just because you can send a video message to someone that you admire, and then that you will stand out amongst all the other people who are just writing boring emails, for example. So yeah, get started now. Quicker the better. Get those repetitions in, and it's going to have a massive impact on your future opportunities. Second one I would say sounds pretty obvious, but you should script your videos. If you're a general YouTuber or you want to talk in front of the camera in any way, I think scripting your videos in general is going to help you massively, because if you're already not good at the skill of talking in front of the camera, which a lot of us we're not natural at, two things are going to happen. Either one, you're going to get so frustrated because it's just so hard to do this task of talking in front of the camera and to do it normally and naturally, and you're just going to like not know what to say at all and freeze up. Or you're going to actually talk too much and overshare and not condense your points in a way that makes sense, and that is just going to result in a boring, long-winded video. And scripting, I feel like, is one of the easiest steps to actually learn the skill, the art of talking in front of the camera, because you can really understand like how things flow. You can more meticulously plan out what you're gonna say to the camera, so that when you set up your gear and you get in front of it, you can actually say it in a way that is logical, it has a structure to it. And then once you've built up that skill, you'll be able to do what I'm doing now, which is I have a few points in my head that I have scripted, but I'm not reading anything from a teleprompter. I'm just taking the points that I have and then riffing off from them based on the knowledge that I know that I have about the subject. Doing it non-scripted is somehow superior. Like, it doesn't actually matter. It's just a slightly different vibe, a bit more casual, like this video. And then for the videos or content where you want to be like super specific, for example, if you want to reach out to someone in a particular industry that you want to work for, maybe that person requires a more specific kind of bullet pointed script, so you can hit all the points about why you want to work for them. But then maybe in a different setting, you just want to have a more casual, colloquial conversation to camera / the viewer, you looking now behind this lens that I'm looking at, and you'll be able to connect with them in a slightly different way. It's not a better way, it's just it has a slightly different tone to it. But I think scripting really is the initial first step to help you get those reps in, because honestly, I've been shooting YouTube videos for about 2 years now, and most of the videos on my channel I scripted, but I didn't have like a teleprompter or anything. I've been scripting my YouTube videos since I really started taking this channel seriously, and it did really help with kind of managing my confidence to sit down and speak about a topic. However, it also resulted in a lot of stress, because I was trying to memorize the bullet points that I had on my laptop and then say it to camera, but I'd always F up my line and have to start again, and just speaking to camera got really kind of annoying at one point, particularly scripting it. And then I kind of realized that there's no way you can really fully word for word say what you have on your bullet point to camera without feeling like incredible stress. So unless you have a teleprompter, which I really advise doing, I know it can be an expensive option, but maybe if you're, want to take this content creation stuff seriously and you have a bit of money to spare, highly recommend buying one. But if you don't have one, you kind of have to vaguely memorize what your point is and then say it in your own words, because you're just gonna frustrate yourself with not being able to actually say it word for word and messing up your lines. And if there's anything that puts a bad taste in your mouth about going out there and making a YouTube video, you're just gonna not enjoy making them as much, and you're not going to be motivated to script the next script, because you just remember that the shooting process is the process that you hate the most. When for me now, I feel like the shooting process is my favorite part of the whole part of making a YouTube video now that I've solved the scripting, memorizing the script issue with a teleprompter. So yeah, have a play around with that. Like, you can script stuff, but just please be warned. I wish someone told me this. Don't say things word for word. It's just going to cause much more frustration. And if you can get a teleprompter, amazing. But if you just work on reading the script in your own words a bit, and you get the basic sense of what the bullet point was that you initially scripted, that will really build up your muscle memory and your ability to talk and also improvise as well, to be able to improvise on the fly like I am now, so you can just say stuff to camera based on what's going on in your own head that is meaningful and has a structure and hopefully helps people watching your channel. And the third point about getting better at speaking in front of the camera is related to how you actually speak in front of the camera. And one of the things that really helped me is trying to speak to the lens as if I'm talking to another human, or rather like a friend of mine, which is harder to do if the video is like a bit more technical. Like if I'm doing a detailed analysis about a camera review, you can't be like, yo bro, what's going on? Here's the camera. I don't speak to my friends like that, but you get the idea. You have to, you know, you can be a bit more presentery, but just being a weird robot, like just staring into the lens, not blinking, not shifting your eyes at all, that's weird. You don't speak to your friends like that. When you speak to your friends, you're a little bit more casual. You kind of glance off. When your thoughts are running, you use hand gestures. I'm half Italian, so I use more hand gestures than the average person. All these things humanize you. It makes us feel like we're looking at, you know, a real person who would actually be similar to the person if we met them in real life. And I think that is kind of the ultimate goal with speaking in front of the camera, is trying to align the person that you are in real life, if someone was to meet you, with the person that you come across on camera as, because then you can, one, sustain this whole journey of YouTube because you're not playing this persona. You know, we all know all the YouTubers who are playing characters and then eventually burn out because they realize, oh, I don't like playing this fake Jake Paul, it's everyday bro, or this annoying Morgs character who's just a bit of a annoying douchebag. Like, we connect with them to some degree, like on YouTube, but if that person has to live his whole life knowing that people perceive him as this one thing, even though in private he's this other thing, that sounds like a crazy, difficult dynamic and lifestyle to live, bouncing around with these personas. And I personally don't want to. I want to try and, with you guys, be as open, honest with you, and to come across as someone who is like genuinely as I am if you were to ever meet me in person. Say hello if you ever meet me in person. And yeah, so I think that is the goal, but it's a long journey. This is not an easy thing to do. Speaking in front of the camera feels so weird when you first do it. It feels so odd. It feels so alien. And then that's why some creators actually prefer live streaming, because you have an audience to react to in some way, like with having chat. Here, I have no one to react to. I'm literally just like looking at a piece of glass and imagining the person who's watching this video when it's on YouTube, which is obviously a lot harder for some people. For me, I oddly find it relatively easy, but I do remember it being quite hard at first, and obviously being concerned that other people are going to criticize me and judge me and bully me online. Turns out they didn't. I think most people, more people than you think, will actually be inspired by the fact that you even have the ability to talk in front of a lens in the way that you do, because they wish they also had that skill as well, because it would be so valuable to them and they just don't have it right now. I'm still not comfortable yet with the idea of vlogging, like walking around with a massive camera talking to it. I think that's probably the next level that I need to get to in terms of not really caring that much about what people think about me, or just being less self-conscious about people seeing me talk to a camera, because, you know, like in here, not like I'm hiding from here. Just my cat is the only person who's listening to me, and the people online. Once the video's online, it's online. There's nothing I can do about it. People can judge and tell me what they think. But in person, outside, a bit more tricky. So that might be the next thing that I'm going to try and do for this year. Get used to holding a camera and doing the old... Oh my God, my cat just jumped up there. So that's probably the next skill set that I'm gonna have to try and build up throughout this year. If you want to improve your overall productivity as a creative, you should definitely check out this video over here, where I talk about some of the bad habits that are destroying your creativity. Hit that subscribe button, because if you do, I'm gonna let Roger Deakins give you the old masterclass Oscar-winning speech tutorial.
I guess I better say something else that'll give me a jet ski, and I don't see myself on a jet ski somehow.
I'll see you in the next video.